Imagine this. You're at the top of a roller coaster, the wind whipping, your heart racing, and suddenly, everything collapses in an instant of pure terror. These aren't Hollywood movies. These are real tragedies that transformed amusement parks into nightmare scenarios, costing lives and exposing unimaginable flaws. Today, we delve into the most shocking cases that nobody wants to remember, but that changed the rules of the game forever. If stories like this keep you glued to the screen, give it a like now, subscribe to the channel for more true stories, and comment, what attraction will you never face again after this? Can you imagine being more than 50 meters high, with the wind in your face and your heart racing, when suddenly something breaks with a deafening crack? That's exactly what happened to Caitlyn, a 13-year-old girl who entered the park simply looking for a fun day with her family, and left scarred by a tragedy that no one could have predicted. What was supposed to be a cry of excitement turned into a cry of despair that echoed throughout the park. The attraction was the pride of the place, a gigantic tower that promised intense seconds of freefall. But beneath that gleaming structure, a single steel cable, the component that kept everything in motion, hid a fatal flaw. In an instant, the rupture transformed the thrill into horror, leaving everyone frozen, unable to believe what they were witnessing. The impact was so great that it shook the entire industry, raising a question that no one could ignore anymore. How far does safety go in amusement? Little did they know that this tragedy would be just the beginning of a series of accidents that would forever change the history of amusement parks. What if I told you that a wooden roller coaster, a symbol of post-war joy, could collapse like a house of cards in the middle of a holiday? In 1972, London families packed the Battery Fun Fair, confident in the old Big Dipper that had been operating for over 2 decades, until, in the middle of a fast turn, the floor literally disappeared from under the passengers' feet. What began as cheerful laughter ended in a chaos of shattered wood and lives lost forever. Built during the era of British optimism, the attraction reached speeds of 56 kilometers per hour on tracks aged by the time and the relentless sea air of London. But years of neglected maintenance had corroded the support beams, transforming what was once a nostalgic icon into a deadly trap. When the train plunged down the slope, the collapse came without warning, hurling cars into the void, and leaving a trail of 5 dead and 13 seriously injured. This catastrophe not only buried the park forever, but also exposed how negligence can turn fun into disaster. And the worst part is that years later, another engineering mistake would prove that lessons like this aren't always learned in time. Did you know that the world's tallest waterslide, with a name that means insane in German, predicted its own tragedy? In 2016, Caleb excitedly climbed the 51-meter Verrückt at Schlitterbahn, thrilled at the prospect of an epic descent. But a simple weight malfunction turned the fun into a fatal crash that shocked the world. What was supposed to be a refreshing dip became a brutal lesson in haste and negligence. Inaugurated with fanfare as a world record, the ride used rafts designed for 3 people, but weight regulations were ignored on busy days, creating a dangerous imbalance. Caleb, in the raft with 2 adults, accelerated to 110 kilometers per hour on the first drop, but on the second hill, the raft flew upwards, hitting the safety nets that were supposed to protect, not kill. The impact was immediate and irreversible, exposing how marketing triumphed over engineering. This death not only brought down the waterslide forever, but led to criminal charges and national reforms, proving that even water can hide deadly dangers, and that the next mistake could come from an even more unexpected place. Imagine entering a haunted castle filled with fake screams and artificial smoke, only to discover that the fire is real and the maze a deadly prison. In 1984, 8 teenagers entered the haunted castle at Six Flags Great Adventure in search of mild scares, but an unseen fire transformed the attraction into a hell of toxic smoke and blocked exits. What seemed part of the show turned into a trap that claimed young lives before they could truly scream for help. Built as a temporary structure, the labyrinth used flammable foams and unprotected fireproof fabrics, lacking sprinklers or emergency lights to guide people through the panic. The fire started in a foam wall, likely from a cigarette or short circuit, and spread like a living nightmare, confusing visitors who thought it was a special effect. 8 lives were lost in the suffocating darkness, trapped in corridors designed to disorient, not to save. This tragedy exposed glaring flaws in safety codes, leading to reforms that saved countless lives. But the terror didn't end there, as another accident would show that even the backstage areas of a park can be lethal. What if the greatest danger in an amusement park didn't come from the tracks, but from an unseen error behind the scenes that cost the lives of those who kept everything running? In 1981, William, a 20-year-old working in maintenance at Worlds of Fun, entered a restricted area during normal Orient Express operation, and a high-speed train turned his routine into a fatal collision that shocked even the passengers. What was supposed to be an ordinary day of inspection became a brutal reminder of how human error can be more dangerous than any machine. The roller coaster, with its dizzying loops and curves, operated without pauses, while communication protocols and barriers were supposed to prevent access during the ride. But something failed miserably, leaving William exposed to the path of a speeding train. The impact was instantaneous and devastating, exposing gaps in training and systems that put workers at constant risk. Passengers watched in horror as the park froze in shock, revealing the dark side behind the lights and laughter. This death catalyzed radical changes in employee safety protocols, saving lives in the years that followed. But when we look at all these stories, one question remains: what really guarantees that fun won't turn into tragedy again? Have you ever stopped to think that behind every isolated accident, there's a common thread weaving a web of negligence that no one saw until it was too late? From broken cables to invisible fires, these stories are no coincidence. They expose how the rush for profit and the illusion of invincibility turned amusement parks into ticking time bombs. From fun hides systemic flaws that cost innocent lives, forcing the world to look beyond the lights and screams. Looking closer, patterns emerge like ghosts. Neglected maintenance on aging structures, lax safety protocols on busy days, and a blind trust in engineering without real testing. In the Superman, a simple cable failed. In the Big Dipper, rotten wood gave way. In the Verrückt, miscalculated weight flew high. And in all of them, human negligence was the true villain. These connections reveal not only errors, but an industry that has learned the hard way to prioritize lives over spectacle. But if these patterns scream clear lessons, why do we still take the risk? This web of flaws leads us straight to the heart of the problem and to the ultimate price that fun exacts from us all. After uncovering these hidden patterns linking broken cables to deadly fires, it becomes impossible to ignore the stark truth that amusement park fun isn't just about adrenaline, but a precarious balance built on costly mistakes. From Caitlyn in the tower to the castle fire, each tragedy forged laws and protocols that protect millions today. But the cost was human, with lives lost due to negligence that could have been prevented. And now, with these wires exposed, do you still feel the same chill down your spine when you get on a ride? The impact goes beyond that. Tougher global inspections, relentless training, and an industry that has learned to fear the impossible have transformed chaos into safety. However, each new attraction carries the weight of these stories, a subtle echo that thrills always come at a price, and it has been paid with blood, tears, and urgent reforms. These lessons challenge us. Is the risk worth it for a moment of euphoria? Or is it time to question what truly makes fun safe? If this got you thinking, comment below which pattern surprised you the most, and subscribe for more real-life stories that change how we see the world.